Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin. In today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about grading and Overton numbers on half dollars and what it all means as far as a collectible goes. And so we're going to talk a little bit about whether or not it's worth getting Overton numbers or not. And I'm going to have some fun with a couple of these coins here, just describing what I see. And let's go. Let's go. All right. So here is an 1813, and I am not going to describe the Overton numbers. They do have Overton numbers on them. I'm going to talk a little bit about the overall grade aspects of the coins, and then we will reveal a couple of things to you. First of all, so this coin is one of the coins where, to me, you have to understand what you're seeing from a distance on this coin, because this coin actually has luster still on the edges. So when I move the coin back and forth, and you see in the star areas, that's luster. This thing was struck flat as a pancake. Now this is one of my most frustrating coins. I owned a coin. It was an 1807 half, and it had probably 60-75% luster on it still, and it was flat as a pancake. And I could not get, at the time, NGC or PCGS to grade it above a VF when the coin was basically an AU saucer, right? And so this actually coin has some similar elements on it. So no detail, no detail, no detail. You can see it's got, once again, this is actually luster over in the edges on this coin. And some of these other lines on here are undoubtedly related to the Overton number that it is. So we're going to take a look in a minute at how that coin graded after we move on from that 1813 to this 1810. And going to look at a coin that has a very, very different look to it with a dark surface. No brightness to it, and so the question is, it has a little bit of that fun, actually, a little bit of that fun blue tone coming behind it. And then there's some question as to whether or not, as you compare these coins, what you're seeing. Are you seeing, luster? Are you seeing originality? What are you seeing? After you see this coin, do you think the other coin is just too bright? Speaking of, I'm going to actually tone it down a notch here and see just kind of how different things look. Right, that light really affects everything. So in this guy, you have a lot of detail left over here in the wings and the shield. These half dollars are among, in my opinion, the hardest coins to grade, technically speaking, because the strikes are so hard to, well, the strikes are so inconsistent. So then you have to kind of just start to understand what it is that you're looking at, right? So here's an 1814. Once again, on this coin, you see, look at nice strong strike on the edge. A lot of detail left in the middle of the coin. No luster on this guy. But overall, a really nice appearance. Here you see some die cracks, which also undoubtedly all play into whatever Overton number this coin is. For those of you who don't know, Overton is the book that was written about these half dollars, where they compare them by die variety. Last but not least, you have this 1812, which also has a lot of different activity going on, but also you can see has some luster in the edges. I'm going to get the light back on here, bring it to full light. Lighting's important in everything you do, and understand when you're under different lights. So when you're at a show, you'll see things in different lights and it'll be different, right? So this coin here, you'll notice, has a similar look to the first coin. You see how flat this design is here, and yet you can see the luster moving behind the stars. But then it also has a strong center portion to it. And then the 1812. And then, oh, here we go. This looks like it is what you would call a clash die. You see that portion of the coin would be, see the hair right there? That's what you're seeing right here, but in reverse image. So that is from a clash die. All right, so how did you guys feel about these coins and their grades? Well, what order to go in? Well, let's start with this 1813. This 1813, PCGS graded a VF25, which, when you factor in the luster, to me is a little bit low. You know, it is the never-ending story of kind of how do you grade a coin, right? But of course, there's just not much of any design element left to this coin. But all of that surface has, you know, kind of luster jumping around on it. So on to the Overton discussion for this particular coin, the Overton 105A. So I'm just going to use gray sheet numbers here just to have a reference, because the gray sheet lists Overton numbers. They list this at 220 and Overton at 242. So basically the price of getting the Overton number on the holder, right? Nothing more on that. All right, let's go to this 1810, and this is actually secretly a crack out, y'all. I didn't tell you that when we started. Surprise crack out. And this coin was previously graded a VF30 by PCGS. And once again, I thought it had a decent amount of luster. VF details tooled, Overton 107. So this is a fantastic result, and not fantastic in the good way. So, you know, a VF 20 type coin's a couple hundred, a VF 30 is 300. The Overton number is a common number, and there is no difference on the coin. So this one is, I think, going to be the most intriguing coin. We're going to come back to this. So tooled, when it says tooled, usually what you're talking about is having an area of the coin that has been reworked, the metal has been reworked, usually in an effort to enhance some portion of design element. So I have not had many coins come back tooled and thought that they weren't tooled. So oftentimes, you know, it's actually pretty easy to miss tooling if it's done really well, because usually what they'll do is they'll just kind of put some heavy lines around like the wing or something and make it pop, right? It's kind of like when you draw abs on yourself. It's the same thing. All right, so next up, we've got this 1814, which once again has a very similar kind of luster and look to the first coin, in my opinion, just a little bit darker. This is also a secret crack out. This was a VF35 on the 1814. And this actually bumped up to a 40. So both of these coins, the 10 and the 14, so these were, you had a VF30 and you had a VF35, and now you have a tooled coin and you've got a 40. So I actually like, I really actually like both these coins to actually have the same grade on them, and yet this coin probably never will. So the thing is, it's got the luster, but also because it's kind of bright, if I send it into CAC, G, or into NGC, they might call it cleaned. I don't know what they'll call it. Y'all can watch some of my paper money grading unboxing videos, and you'll see that I have much more in common, I think, with the grading of paper money. Well, like I said, this is a tougher area to grade. There's such a huge variety. Now this coin here, the Overton price 104A and the XF40 normal gray sheet price is the same at 575. Also, VF35 is 375. So that is actually one of the rare occasions where you'll see a $200 jump, but not just a $200 jump, a $200 jump on a coin that's, you know, less than 600 bucks. So like a 20%, 25% increase on overall price point on a 1-point jump in a middle grade. So sometimes you won't see that until you get to higher grade coins. But a lot of the 19th century American stuff that's tougher, you'll start seeing price points jump in VF to XF numbers. Finally, this 1812, which is just a very similar coin also. You can see the luster dancing in there a little bit. XF details tooled. So the 1812, your Overton prices on this number, the Overton 107, and the actual price is the same in the gray sheet. Now this one's fun because this one says tooled, and some of you may have already picked it up because in the light source it actually wasn't too hard to pick up. It actually has some tooling on it. Yoink. Here we go. And all of a sudden focus didn't want to focus anymore. So let's look between the 1 and the 8. There are a whole lot of lines that between the 1 and the 8, they actually run kind of horizontal between the two of them. And let's see if I can film this properly. Here maybe I need to bring down my light a little bit. So you see this type of work a lot on medieval coins, and sometimes it'll say surface smoothed. So you have some lines that are kind of going north and south from the 8, but it's really those lines that are between the 1 and the 8 that almost at a distance they almost look like a lamination or something, but up close you can actually see, I'm using my 20 power, that those are lines that were grooved in there with some type of a tool, hence the term tooling. And you'll see there's lots of little other things going on in here with fine line work. I'm going to grab my 20 power again here, and let's take one more look at my other coin that they called tooled. And it's kind of hard because anywhere you find some finer hairlines, you can call something tooled. Also, look at the 1/1 edge on that. That's probably what the Overton is here. Like I said, I don't know Overtons. I don't have memorized. I can look it up, but that's not really what I wanted to get at in this video was just overall grade and grade concept. This appears to have some little bit of some, is that a scrape mark? Gotta look at that, not under the light here. So what I am looking for actually is tool marks and tooling on this coin, and it's very curious to me because I want to be able to find it easily. And then of course you have some different types of fine hairlines, but once again, graders don't use 20 power loops unless you're trying to find varieties and subvarieties. Of course, now I said that, I did ask for Overton numbers. But I mean, typically with a 5 power loop, you can actually miss tooling. So I will look over this coin again and again and show it to a few people and then decide maybe I'll see if I can get it straight graded yet again, because obviously yeah, I magically changed the date. That would be something else. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.